Hey, what's up guys? Little man with a big opinion here. And in today's video, I'm going to talk about building a supply of insulin. Most of the suggestions that I have lean towards having type 2 because unfortunately with type 1, insulin is required, and at the time of recording this video and based off of the research that I can do from the good old internet, insulin expires a year after you've purchased it, and there are some studies talking about potency levels going down, and you can generally use it up to 2 years after you buy it, but in a SHTF situation, you're really hoping that society doesn't completely collapse. Before I go any further in this video, I do have to preface, I'm not a doctor. I don't have any medical training. I only know what I've learned off the internet, what I have talked about with my doctor, and things that I can do being type 2. So the first thing, easiest, cheapest thing that people with diabetes can do, which I've set up a whole bag for, is buying the needles, the test strips, and that sort of thing. So first thing in this little bag, we've got our poker, our glucometer, and I've got some test strips in here. You can purchase this with a prescription. You can purchase it over the counter. For the specific device they gave me, it's actually cheaper to buy over the counter. And it runs about $7 for a 30-day supply. So you can do the math on that if you would like to. The next thing is going to be these alcohol swabs. This is a pack of 100, and I'm pretty sure it was $1. The next thing is going to be the pen needles. I believe this pack of 50 was $11. And then the last thing will be the lancets, which this is a pack of 100, and I think it was $3 or $4. It was cheaper for me to buy this stuff from HEB. Just hit up whatever's in your area. I haven't even looked at Sam's, or I don't go to Costco, so I don't know if buying it in bigger quantities would be better. But being able to test your blood sugar, have additional batteries for your glucometer, and I had one other thing, but I don't think it is in this room, and that is the ketone urination strips, which I actually didn't look up what the expiration date on those are. So we're going to check that real quick. Let's see. So they typically expire within 3 to 6 months after opening. This says 6 months. And this says they can be used for a small period of time after their expiration date. It's a somewhat cheaper method of testing yourself. I've read that third world countries do more of that testing than the finger prick. But that is the simpler answer to one of the issues with being a diabetic and being a prepper. The more serious one is the insulin. As of right now, I still am on a long-lasting and a fast-acting, and it worked out in my favor for now, being able to store this. because the prescription that they gave me, one of these pens would originally only last 10 days. And because I started exercising so heavily and changed what I ate, almost on a 180 cold turkey, they were able to lower it to where this is now a 30-day supply. And each package I had 5 pens, which I ended up with about like four months and like maybe 3 months and 15 days worth. But a prescription can be difficult to obtain. So I did also learn that every single state will allow you to purchase insulin over the counter except Indiana. Now, do consult with your doctor and make sure the over-the-counter insulin will work for your needs, because some insulin works better than others. And then I've also read that some insulin would be more expensive for you to use. So completely up to you whether you use a prescription or not. If you live near Mexico or Canada, you can also go across the border. It's a little sketch, but those countries don't make you have a prescription for it at all, and you can stock up that way. If the insulin that's over the counter does not work for you, most prescriptions allow you to get your refill anywhere from like 1 to 5 days, before you completely run out. And so always try to go, as soon as you're allowed to refill your prescription. And you can have that conversation with your doctor. I had the conversation with mine. I told him I'm pretty serious about prepping. What's the longest prescription you can give me at a time? And he wrote a 2-month prescription. And he also wrote in there that I can, pick it up 5 days, early. So that's my plan, and that's what I'll continue to do. So every 2 months I can add a 5-day supply. So at the end of the year, I've got a 2-month supply. I think that's fairly okay. For the type 1s, it's fairly critical that you develop a system, whether it's picking up your prescription early, asking for a longer prescription from your doctor, because insulin is very important. Anywhere from 24 hours to 5 days, your body will be in a lot of pain, and it will slowly kill you. For type 2s, and I'm in this process as well, I am trying to get off of the insulin. So the foods that I'm prepping have less carbs in it, less sugar, and exercising more. Not only is it lowering the amount of insulin that I'm required to take, so it's weeding me off a requirement on my prepping list, but my doctor has eventually said that if I continue exercising, continue to eat healthy, then there's a good possibility I won't have to take insulin, and I could just keep some on hand in case of an emergency. Now, storage on these bad boys is, once it's been opened, whether it's a vial, a pen, a pump, it needs to be replaced or used up in a 28-day period. So they say you could push it a couple days past that, but really not that much. Insulin that is refrigerated or kept below an 86-degree temperature will last up for a year. So the big goal for me by the end of this year is having enough solar to run my mini fridge. That way, if I ever lose power, I ever go into a grid down or SHTF situation, I know the insulin that I have on hand will last at least a year. And then if you don't have that option, keeping it buried underground in a dark closet, inside of, say a mason jar with, you put it inside of a stream, that will keep it cold enough to make it, last as long as it needs to last. The only other thing I can say is, type 1s, build your supply, make sure you can keep your insulin good, and just hope a SHTF situation doesn't last longer than a year. For type 2s, if you haven't heard this, get off your butt, go for a walk, a run, swimming, biking, start weightlifting, put the cheeseburger down, maybe don't drink as many beers, and try to wean yourself off of the requirement of insulin. So maybe you take a pill instead of insulin. The pills have a much longer expiration date than the insulin does. And, my doctor was saying you could get to a point where you don't have to take insulin, except if you had like a super high sugary day or a lot of carbs, you might have to take it, once in a while. But there's a good possibility of telling and forcing your body to jumpstart your pancreas and start making insulin. So, if this video was educational for you, I don't think there's much entertaining about it, then like the video and subscribe. If you have a friend or family member that would benefit from the information in said video, then share that video with them. And I'm not going on vacation for a while, so expect to see 1 to 2 videos a week. And I'll catch you in the next one.